Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me online today. Welcome to our weekly webinar. This week we're going to focus on mobilising your staffing hiring process in 2018. My name is Emma Ganesh. I'm the co-founder of recruitment marketing and hiring software company Landed. I'm an experienced recruiter. I have therefore firsthand witnessed and lived the changes in how we reach and interact with talent across the last 20 years. And to say that the process has changed over the last 20 years is an understatement. I'm old enough to remember fax machines long before the time of mobile phones came along. But enough about me. Today what we're going to do is focus on the one single biggest game changer in this never-ending search for talent and the optimum recruitment process, and that is Mobilise and how you can mobilise your recruitment strategy. Okay, so moving on, just a bit of housekeeping. If you do have any questions, you feel free to ask me towards the end of the presentation. I'll open up the mics and I'll be happy to answer any direct questions, or you can email me and I'll put my contact details up available later on. The session today should last about 20-25 minutes, and a recording will be available online afterwards, and you can email a request for that as well. So looking at a bit of an overview of what we're going to cover today. Hiring, what we're looking really is about hiring people for your business. It should be an exciting and engaging time and a chance to add new skills to your team, to bring personalities to your company, and it should be a sign that your company is thriving. However, many hiring managers, regardless of sector or industry, have one thing in common. They find the current process of hiring tedious and frustrating. Hours spent sifting through standardised CVs that have become very easy for applicants to send through, and sort of more time spent trying to identify the right people to shortlist, and then even more time trying to arrange interviews, and even more time processing the admin at the end of the recruitment drive. And obviously now we're going to have to throw GDPR into that to make sure that we're protecting all of that data. But that's another webinar for another time. When you have more than one job to fill and you're dealing with volumes of applications, it is easy to understand why so many find it hard to get excited about recruitment and selecting new hires, and they look for that magic wand to make it all simple. But it doesn't have to be so complex. So what I have suggested, I know we're into February already, but it's still time to make some New Year's resolutions, is a promise to yourself that you'll try to simplify your hiring process and focus on hiring better people first time round, and a resolution to start enjoying that recruitment process and get excited about the talent that you're adding to your team. Now, one of the most effective recruitment changes that you can make is to introduce mobile recruiting to your actual process. It will make it more exciting for the applicant, and it will make it easier for you to engage with candidates and to get their applications into one solid place, easy for you to screen and assess. The most effective recruitment drives have one thing in common: they're routine and they're structured. And the advances in technology today has enabled us to put in standard processes, but to maintain enough human interaction to ensure we don't end up hiring robots, and that we're actually focusing on the people. Like I say, the technical advances in the last 15, even 20 years have dramatically impacted how we live. How we hire has not escaped any of these changes, and if companies want to engage talent, they need to adapt and modernise, or you're going to risk losing out talent to your competitors. So we're going to look through the advances in technology, a little bit on the birth of social media, how the candidate marketplace has changed and what they're using, higher candidate expectations, and that more flexible workforce will all be covered in parts throughout the presentation. They all play a part in how companies engage with talent, and are going to continue to connect with talent in 2018. Okay, so our focus today is really going to be the smartphone. It is one of the greatest changes in the recruitment process has been the rise in the smartphone, and it's the greatest change in our lives, really, quite frankly, over the last 10 to 15 years. The figures on screen today have been taken from Money Week, and they only got to 2014, and in their report they predicted that by 2020 over 4 billion adults will own a smartphone. And in fact, we've actually surpassed that figure already, which the next slide will show. But if you can think back to I started my career in the mid-90s, and mobile phones were really just taking off then. Mobile phones peaked sort of 2010, and that's your standard mobile phone, your 76 character text mobile phone. And then since sort of the midpoint of 2010 onwards, over the last 8 years, we've seen that steady stream and that rise in the smartphone and the technologies that offers. And we know that that has impacted everything. It impacts how we order a taxi, it impacts how we book our flights, order our takeaways, and it impacts how people search and apply for jobs, and that's not to be ignored. The use of mobile devices is a viable route to job applicants, and to ignore it is to ignore a large pool of talent that's available to you. And it's reported that as companies are missing out on as much as 40% of potential applications by having poor, non-mobilised, non-innovative application processes, especially when they're looking to hire from the younger generation. It goes hand in hand with the growth of social media, which you said we'd touch on. More than 15 people start using social media for the first time every second, meaning that about 75 people will have started using social media by the time we've finished viewing this slide, which is just absolutely incredible if you ask me. 7 people start using a mobile phone every single second as well, and statistically it's likely that 6 of them are doing so using a mobile phone. So 6 out of 7 people who started using a phone in the last few seconds have started with their new smartphone, and they're looking through apps and they're looking at ways to engage with people. So it's really something that you can't afford to ignore, and it's really something companies have to focus on getting away from paper-based applications. They say, given the number of people who have smartphones, that 74% of job seekers will use their smartphone as a way to view and look for their next job. And this number rises to 95% who use the mobile to actually view social media. Anything you post on social media can be viewed on a mobile, but it's your application process, and it's a very easy way to check and take out smartphones and view your current company website and view your current careers page, and this should tell you all you need to know about what you need to put into place. There is very little point in spending time and money on social recruiting strategy if your process is not mobilised. So we hear a lot of companies who are looking to put in place Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and they're focusing on getting their adverts on there and making sure that they're reaching people through those channels, but then they don't have a mobile application process. So they're really sort of leading them down a path, and they're saying, we've got this great job, we've got this great opportunity, but they don't have a mobile process. So it's important that if you are going to go down that route of looking and interacting with social media, that you actually have a good mobile application process in place. But what does a good mobile application process look like, and how do you get one? So this is something that we come up against. People are unsure of technologies. Do you need to build an app? Do you have to install certain software? Do the applicants have to download the app if they want to apply? These are all valid questions, and it's something that we aim to answer through today's session. So the first place to start, if you want to see do you have a good mobile process, is to open up your smartphone, type in your company careers page or company website, and try to apply for one of your current job vacancies via your mobile device. And that will tell you if you have a good process or not. And if you find it's a process that you don't like, then it's something that you need to maybe take steps to actually changing. So is your careers listing page. This will give you an example of 2 different versions of what careers pages can look on mobile phones. Is it readable? Is it scrollable? And is it clean? So are you the one on the left who is hard to read? Are you one where you may have to magnify it so that you can actually see which job you're going to apply for? And is it something that stands out and grabs the attention of somebody? Or are you the careers page on the right, which is what you should be aiming to be, somewhere where candidates can go in and search by job, reference, title or location, and by job type, and search to see very quickly what vacancies you have available. Only 24% of employers have a mobile optimized careers website, yet so many more are seeking to hire from social media. So what we say at this stage, if you come to us and say we want to do social media recruiting, but we don't want to go mobile, we basically tell them to stop. You've got to look at your application process and make sure that it's mobile optimized before you go down the route of that recruitment marketing. The next stage then, so you've advertised your vacancies and they've become nice and listed, is what does the actual application form look like on a mobile phone? Again, are you the employer on the left who puts in very small boxes that look great on a computer, but when you put them onto a mobile phone, they're not easy to fill in. You need to, again, magnify them, scroll in, scroll out to actually put in the data, and it's not a scrollable process that's easy to do. Or are you the company on the right hand side who, again, has a nice clean process that's got your company branding in there and that is attracting the applicants to fill out the details very, very quickly? So it's all about that ease of application and making sure that applicants can just put in their details and move forward quite quickly. But that's just the technicalities. That's one side of mobilising your recruitment process. But mobile recruiting as a whole is not just the technology. It's opening up great opportunities for you to be innovative, especially around your recruitment marketing and applying digital marketing capabilities for effective recruitment as you continue to grow. So it's no longer enough to use those traditional channels of newspapers and adverts and windows and word of mouth. And you've really got to start engaging those other channels that are available and come under the element of recruitment marketing. And that includes many layers, starting with your employer brand, your job description, and also includes strategies and tactics organisations tend to use more in digital marketing. So it may be worth talking to your marketing department to see about what strategies you can engage and use that will be contacting and engaging applicants through the mobile phone and getting them to apply for your jobs. But it's important to have that technology that we showed you first and then develop your online digital recruitment marketing strategy. But the two do go very much hand in hand. So make sure that you've got a good mobile careers page, that your mobile careers page is connected to your social media, that you've got a good employer brand, a good mobile company website, and that you've got that reputation for being an innovative company in the marketplace. And the information that you provide via your mobile can really enhance and sell the lifestyle within the actual organisation that you're working with. The recruitment funnel today has many more layers than in previous years. Much like standard marketing funnels, the top half of your funnel focuses on marketing your employer brand and your job companies or your job opportunities and your unique selling points. The latter half is what you're used to. It's your traditional recruitment process, that's screening, selecting of best applicants and following process and procedure related to HR and ensuring that you match the right candidates up with the right jobs. Internal recruiters really need to focus on this top end and think a little bit more like marketers and develop those long-term talent acquisition strategies that will help transform and expand. Mobilising your recruitment process is just a feature of what should be an overall strategy. It's not just as simple as putting on a mobile application form. It's everything else that goes behind it that will make your process successful. And as part of that, mobile enables you to reach more applicants through picture and sound. So it's a real opportunity for you to shout about your brand, an opportunity for you to shout about your culture, get your team involved, brag about staff training days, fun days, team building, and create inviting careers pages that aren't just static job listings, but have got videos interacting with them to really over and sell the lifestyle of your company. And then using the mobile devices again through your social media to engage with applicants through the use of video and modern tech. And building that employer brand is not going to happen overnight, and it will take time to deliver consistency in terms of the content that you want to add to that branding. But first point is to ensure that all your adverts are branded and that they are all, as I can't stress enough, mobile optimized and connected to your careers website. So first do that check and make that a point of view. That's where you start first to make a mobile recruitment process, is you mobilise your careers page, you mobilise your vacancies listings, and then you put in place a mobile application process. And then from there you can start to build outwards about building your social media strategy to go along with it to enhance your brand and do the marketing, and about where you advertise your vacancies. The easiest way to do this is to link all your jobs through to an ATS, because what you're ideally going to be doing with a mobile recruitment strategy is engaging more talent. So you want to be able to easily track those candidates and make sure that you're able to respond to them quickly, because the one thing with mobile is if an applicant can apply for your job in 10 minutes via a mobile device, they will darn sure look to expect to get a response for you within a set time frame. So you want to limit the amount of calls of applicants calling you to see what's the process with their application, and link to an ATS and automated responses can really help you do that. So it includes strong imagery, and use your employee testimonials as well. As I've said, for a quick audit of your careers page will give you a good starting place for developing your engaging marketing strategy for 2018. Don't worry, you don't have to become a digital marketing expert to develop a successful mobile recruitment strategy, but you do have to become aware of how that marketing can help and develop with you, and make sure that you have the technologies in place to make it possible. Having a mobile optimized application process is a great way to promote your brand, because you can put your branding on your application processes, you can make your branding look great, and you don't have to download an app. You can do all of this through mobile HTTPS software, which most standard ATSs will be able to provide you. So it's well worth looking into, and avoid the costly expense of going down to get people to develop your own personal app, and then expecting applicants to download that app. So look to see what solutions are out there that can help you develop something very quickly. As we said, 95% of phone users today own a smartphone, and I'm sure in not too distant future, absolutely everybody will own a smartphone. There'll only be the odd few who have the smaller devices, maybe those who are the conspiracy experts who don't like sharing anything via mobile phones or through web cameras. But with 95% of users using a smartphone, they fully expect to be able to view and complete their jobs on their devices. So it really is, again, can't stress enough, something that you can't ignore. People, and this includes your applicants, have become very impatient, and if they start an activity on their mobile phone device, they want to finish it on their mobile. So if they've viewed your advert on social media or on your job page that looks like a social media site or looks like a mobile optimized careers page, and they scroll through and then they click on that apply now button, and they get the option to send you an email with an attached CV. That's not a mobile application process. They then get a pop-up to say, download this application form, scan it and send it. That's not a mobile application process. Just because your website is mobile optimized does not mean you have a mobile application process. It goes deeper to that next layer, which is the actual completion and filling of the application form. And candidates who view adverts on a mobile phone, like I say, expect to be able to complete it. They don't want to download paper applications. They don't want to have to bother with scanning and attaching emails. And to do that, put those barriers in place can mean you are potentially missing out on up to 40% of your applicant talent pool. And that's not something that any company, I think, these days can afford to do. Fewer people have computers and printers in their homes, and they really do rely on their smartphone as their only basis of technology. It's their only way with connecting with the world and completing information. So it's important that you have it so that those forms can be filled in and submitted online via a mobile device. Applying for a job can seem daunting. As much as recruiters maybe hate going out to look for talent, applicants hate filling out long-winded application forms, and they don't like to print off stuff and then have to sit and download it. And again, this is the majority of people. It's not everybody. You are still going to get some people who are stalwarts and they want to do it the old traditional way, but they're few and far between, and they're going to become less, especially when you're hiring from the millennial pool. They do everything via the mobile device. They're practically glued to their hands. So by having a simple process in place, you will put an end to the phone calls from applicants asking what your process is, what they have to do, and trying to step it. If you put in place on a device, it's a step-by-step instruction, then they'll easily follow through and they'll upload their applications quite quickly. And your mobile recruitment strategy will only work if it's simple and easy to complete, and if it's a mirror of your standard online application process on a PC. The two of them should be absolutely no different. So when running an audit on your current careers page, always check to see that the application process can be completed as easily on the mobile device as it can on the PC. And if there's any variation in there, then that's something that you want to raise with whoever has developed your online application process, because the two should be pretty much identical so that the applicants have the exact same candidate journey. The other thing to look at when you're looking at your careers page is to view that all of your vacancies are live vacancies. The last thing applicants want to see today is expired jobs listed on a careers page. They don't want to see the job they missed out on. It'll lead to them ringing you and calling you and asking you, can you apply? And then they'll be applying or being at risk of applying after the deadline, which can raise all kinds of issues within an organisation. So look at the vacancies that you're advertising and make sure that the vacancies are live. Now, again, if you have a good ATS system and your job postings on your careers page are linked to that ATS system, they should automatically come off, and there should be no need to have vacancies that are listed that are out of date by about 18 months. And I have seen that firsthand, where I've gone in to do an audit for a company and I've looked at the careers page and it's just lists of jobs with download application forms, and some of the jobs were dead 18 months ago, or they never got filled, so it looks like they've been on the system for a long, long time. And so old jobs on your website can be hugely damaging to your employer brand, and by automating that process so that they come off automatically, it will greatly enhance you as an innovative employer. One thing with mobile applications and going out to the marketplace and attracting applicants through the use of technology is that you are going to get an increase in the number of applicants applying for your job. So how do you match this with what we had said earlier about recruiters getting frustrated with the number of applications they have to deal with? Well, the one way to do that is to introduce smart online screening and automated filtering. So when you go mobile with your recruitment process, it is going to lead to that increase in applications. And as much as you want to encourage them, you need to put in place processes that will reduce the amount of applicants that you actually physically have to view. So by putting in place automated screening, killer questions that are going to eliminate applicants who don't match your criteria, not only will you reduce your workload because you'll get to the right applicants quicker, but even the applicants who you reject will be much happier because they've been rejected because they realise, well, actually, no, I don't fit the job. So make sure you've got those processes in place, and it can be as simple as, do you have experience selling in a corporate environment, B2B sales? Yes or no? And for a certain role, they need to have a certain amount of experience. You don't have the resources to train them. If it's no, then they get a simple story on their screen to say they're not being successful, and they move on. Nobody's left wondering. Applicants can go off and apply for other jobs, and you don't have to view CVs that aren't relevant. So introducing that smart processing screening can really dramatically cut down on the amount of work that you're actually having to put into the hiring process, and it lets you focus on the good people that you want, and you can get to interview those people much faster. Smartphones generally come with cameras, and this opens up the opportunity for companies to try video interviews. Reduce the time to hire by getting good applicants on the video to answer quick first stage screening questions. And in the first few minutes, you'll know if they're a good fit for your job. So you'll be able to see exactly what kind of communication skills they have. You'll be able to test some of their skills in technology and some of their actual knowledge about the job. Candidates like it as well. And it's still new technology for a lot of people, but it's going to be ever increasing. And those companies that introduce it now are going to be the innovative companies and the companies that are seen to be forward thinking. But what video interview, as well as the practicalities of letting you screen and assess somebody's communication skills, it's also great for candidates who no longer need to make an excuse to get a day out of work. They don't need to use up annual leave allowances to take a full day off and travel to the interview. If you're hiring talent from abroad or you're hiring talent from remote locations, it's a great way to reach out to them without bringing them over for that final interview or the cost involved in flights. And even from an environmental perspective, it reduces your carbon footprint as an organisation because you're not getting people to travel to and from your building for a physical interview. So it's a great tool, and it's more and more available with a lot of applicant tracking software systems that are out there. And the fact that everybody has a mobile device or a smartphone means that they generally have that technology where they can record those video interviews for you. So how can we help at Landed? We've basically taken the whole principles of modern marketing and online applicant tracking and packaged it so that it's a mobile-first solution. We make it possible for all companies to go mobile with their hiring process. It's just standard with everything that we do. Our software is a SaaS-based service as a software solution, and the standard setup to go live can take between 3 to 4 weeks, with a dedicated implementation account manager to hold your hand through the process. So we make it easy for all companies to go mobile. In short, we enable our companies to build strong employer brands and present their vacancies in a professional, modern layout that can be fully white labelled and look like a bespoke recruitment solution. So it doesn't matter what size you are, we can enhance it so that your application process looks smart, looks clean, fully branded, and enables you to be mobile first in everything that you do. We allow you to create individual screening applications that suit each and every role that you have. Every role will be different. Some you will be looking to do either psychometric testing, others you'll do video interview, others you may do more text-based or telephone interviews. But with Landed, mobile optimized recruitment is just one of the features. And like I say, the others include having that solution of all of the tools that you need on one dashboard, whether it is the filtering questions or the video interview or the online assessments. In-house recruiters using Landed can quickly create and launch bespoke branded hiring campaigns and importantly gather real-time data on the performance of vacancies, monitor that data and make better hiring decisions. In 2014, Henderson's still accepted over 40% of their applications via paper-based forms. Since they introduced Landed, they have transformed the hiring process and have moved to be 100% online and mobile-based. They have reduced their time to hire and created a strong employer brand that ensures that they attract the best talent in the marketplace. And by automating their marketing and recruitment, they are able to publish job adverts via multiple channels, schedule social media campaigns, and to be viewed at premium times. Auto-filtering applications means that their teams of recruiters have reduced time to hire from 6 to 4 weeks. Online assessments have been enabled them to build a healthy talent pool, and the video interviews has cut down on the number of no-shows at actual interview. So they've been able to heavily reduce that carbon footprint. If you're serious about transforming your hiring process and you want to make your application process more robust and mobile for 2018, then I would strongly suggest that you request a demo of our software and see what we can do to help you and simplify your hiring process throughout this year. I'm now more than happy to take any questions that you have out there. And as I say, my contact details are available on screen, so you can note them down if you want to email me any questions or queries, happy to answer them. Or you can follow us on social media where we publish many blogs and details about sort of recent changes in the HR technology field. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any questions today. So obviously I've covered everything in detail. Hopefully you've found this session useful and given you some ideas of what you can do, and it's given you an idea of maybe what we can do for you. Like I say, I'd be happy to take a call from any of you directly and to answer any of those questions that you may have. But for now, thank you for attending, and I look forward to maybe catching you on our next webinar, which is at the same time next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Thank you.